Okay, so I'm gonna try and not sound as bitchy as I feel. I feel so bitchy, man. I'll of course tell you why. I'm about to start number 8 on my paint series of this rebirth of the divine masculine and feminine energies on the planet, this rebirthing of a new life, a new existence, and this nature represented micro, macro thing or whatever. This one, oh my gosh, I love this one. These mushrooms, only you're down, the perspective is, when I was out picking mushrooms and stuff, it just gave me kind of this perspective. And so this is being in a world of dicks. And I was going to do a little ant down there because he's so overwhelmed by all the dicks. I don't know. I haven't decided yet because I really like them. And I love the stump, the wood. I love that one too. It's really been, that's fun. That really is where I'm doing that. And it is easy to get lost in there and just listen to music. So I haven't been going on TikTok that much. And when I do, it's so disappointing. Like, what have they done to my algorithm for one thing? But the stuff that people are talking about, and you know what, this is what just is so aggravating, and I'm just getting hit with it one after another. So this aggravation is supposed to come to the surface, but I'm doing everything I can to release it. Believe me, I don't want it in me any more than it wants to be inside of me. But okay, just this isn't even the start of it, but just jump in. So, yesterday, I can't remember what the conversation was, but I said something, to my daughter. I think she said something about, next week. That's what it was. She says next week when we go to Yakima, because we're going to meet in Yakima. She got an Airbnb and I'm going to meet. She's the one who, just split, and now she has a new girlfriend, and so she wants me to meet her. And it's very difficult, when you have a son-in-law that you love too, but you have to respect your kids for their journey. It's just like I can't even go into it. I'll get all emotional again. It's very difficult. I've got a lot of son-in-laws, with 4 daughters, and I love them all. Just because they aren't at Thanksgiving every year doesn't mean I stop loving them. You know what I mean? And these boys, I met them all when they were kids. Like, I've seen. Okay. I've been so emotional lately, so yeah, I'll be lucky if I don't just bawl through this whole thing. I swear to God, I can see most anything. And all my emotions are just up there. And I had heard somebody talking the other day, because, everybody's at all these different levels. And they were talking about, having their emotions repressed because they weren't dealing with them and stuff. And healing has brought so many emotions to the surface. And I was like, I wonder if that is the thing, why my emotions are just so readily available, is because I'm so willing to feel them. I'm not hiding from my emotions. I'm not masking. I'm not, and so they're just there. You feel a lot of them. Happy ones, sad ones, just a lot of them is just like, oh my God, it's so beautiful to be alive. It's like, I can't believe how exciting. And the beautiful, oh my God, but the ones with the animals and stuff, oh my God. I'll just sit there and bawl just watching an elephant walk. I sit there and be like, oh God, that's walking. So beautiful. It's like a fall apart. So anyways, it's it's just a new part of this reality, I guess. But so she was saying, that they're not gonna be there till Thursday evening. So I'm gonna spend the weekend with them in the Airbnb. We're still gonna be all getting together. It's gonna be 3 of the 4 daughters will be together with their partners. And just the one that's still not speaking to me. And I'm, it's just very curious, all this stuff playing out, and I really want to say more stuff about what they tell me, but it'll sound like a crazy person, crazier than I already sound like. So, and there's lots of things where I feel like, God, am I a hypocrite when I know this? And I'm saying it's very difficult. These are my challenges. Everything has challenges. So, anyways, she said about, that they were going to be there late or whatever. And I said, well, hopefully everything's going to work out, that we're going to get there, like at this point. And she's like, oh, I'm sure it's going to be fine. And I said, based on what? And she said, my inner feeling. And I said, okay. And, in regards to this, I don't, I just feel like everything is just on edge. Like, I'm ready for anything. So it's not like where I can be sitting there going like, oh yeah, definitely. I would have no problem to get there and back, leave all my things here, not worry at all. Like, I'm thinking, I'm thinking something different because I'm sitting there thinking about what's going on in the world. And so anyways, she's saying, that it's going to be fine. And that got us started talking about the financial thing. And I said, yeah, but when it goes, cards nor cash will work. There will be nothing that works. There will be people who will take cash still because they won't be confused. They're not going to understand what's happening. And, just like I said, these people who, think the banks are crashing. No, it's the fucking dollar bill, y'all. It's not the fucking banks. It's like, come on, motherfuckers. So it's, so she starts telling me, I need to not worry. Don't worry. This has happened before, Mom. They bailed them out. Just don't worry. There'll be a bailout. Just, don't worry about it. Okay, so I told you this was coming. I told you why it was coming. I told you all of this stuff. And then when it gets here, I'm just worried. And for me not to worry, it'll be fixed, This is what I'm talking about, man. Like, how do we go for years and years since 2015? I've been telling you about what's going to happen. It's all happening. And as it happens, you tell me nothing's happening that I've said, that I keep saying things, but they aren't happening. Yet they're happening all around you. Yet you make excuses. And I don't even know, man. At this point, I was just like, that was one thing. Then I went on my social media, and I was like, this person, was in TikTok. And then I go down a couple more. There they are again. And I was like, okay, cool. Then I go to another one, and it's a person who I talk to, another spiritual person who I talk to, and they're talking to this person's ex in a video. I was like, what in the hell is... Okay, I got to go off of here. This is just too much for me at this point. And then in between all of these videos where it's like, what are you trying to do to me? What are you trying to show me? Like, and in between all of those, then I have, for instance, this girl who's been out there, leading the way. Oh, she's got all the answers. Leading the way in the spiritual awakening to all the people. And then today she's doing a video crying because she just realized we're in a simulation. And so then people are duetting that one because it's like, this is, there's so many things that I have said and talk about and stuff like that. And people are just like, oh, well, I think this, well, I think that. It's like, yesterday I was so frustrated. I was just like, oh my God, I didn't even want to talk. I didn't want to do anything. I was really lost in my own head, just being like, what? And I was emotional anyways about my own stuff. Emotional about like, like you guys do not understand time. You don't sit there and tell somebody it's about to go down. It's about to go. Get ready. For fucking years. Time is tedious as a motherfucker. And it is, when you keep going through these things and they keep saying, oh, it's about to change. It's about, well, get ready. You better be ready. It's about to go. It's like, okay, I'm ready. It's like, yeah, Stella's in on it with me. It's like, yeah, snooze. So yeah, it's like hit the snooze over and over. It's like, okay, so get ready means, a couple years down the road, something may happen, I bet. Okay. So anyways, I'm just feeling really frustrated because of the tediousness of how things go. And so then she's sitting there saying that. I'm like, oh my God, how do they take everything I say and just twist it into fucking origami of fucking 3-dimensional fucking bullshit? It's like, oh my God. I sit there and I guess it's just coincidence. It's a coincidence that I said that the money is going to fail. I bought everybody silver 3 fucking years ago or something for Christmas. It was probably 2 years ago. Let's see, it was last year was the hats and the scarves. The year before that, was it the hats and the silver? I'm so fucking confused. Or was it the year before that I bought them all silver and gave them hats? I don't fucking remember at this point. But yeah, I said, banks are going to go down. They start going down. Oh, don't worry. It's nothing. Oh, no. Mom, the system is not failing. Don't even worry about it. Okay. And to me, I mean, it is really hard to, I don't know, to know these things, to be told these things, to see these things, and just for me. It's just for me. And then I can watch everybody else struggle and not, it's just like, man, I don't get it. And it's very frustrating to see people who, think they've got all the answers. It's like, fucking dude, you just thought of this and I've been fucking saying it for a couple of years now, but hallelujah, I'm so glad you got all the answers now. I can't even there is barely a video I can get through. It's like, I already know this. It's like, oh my God. And there's no videos showing anything about the banks. I've seen one about the storm in California. It was a total washout. Oh my God. It was, I guess in San Bernardino, they've even had to be evacuating. They're going to destroy California. I mean, it's part of the whole thing, and it does totally get to the point of, who is it? It's going to happen anyways, so let's just enjoy it and wipe all these people out. Is it that they saw in Looking Glass that this was going to happen, so they knew they had to get prepared with the future cities? Like, I don't know. I don't even know of all of the things, if we're going to get to know every little, is it the chicken or the egg? And I think I was talking about this on here. I'm telling you, I don't even know how to explain my existence anymore. Like, it's so weird. It's so weird because it's even being in a house around, like, Stella pulls me out of my own world. And there's somebody else now who will pull me out of my own world, but I just am in my own world, it feels like, a lot of the time. And now at night, like, it's like I'm just up doing stuff. I'm not resting. No wonder I'm fucking exhausted. I couldn't believe how busy I was last night, all through the night. And I was woke up. So I kept being totally aware of what was going on during the night. And it's not like dreaming. It's just like I'm in these different places or something. I keep going to these different places and I'm talking to people and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's very busy. It's very, very busy. There's no, like, downtime or something. And then with the energy and stuff, it's like pulling. It's giving me such a anxious feeling, the way it's pulling. And I don't know. I think it's, it's the pull as it's going to shoot back. And it's so crazy because of how many of these things you can tell is happening, but how slow. You think, like, you feel it pulling that tension back and it would be going real quick. Like so many people have talked about, they can feel something coming, they can feel something coming. And then as weeks go on, it's like, man, how far out do I feel something coming? Because when you feel it, it feels like it's about to go down. It feels like, man, this is about to happen. So it's just very, it's a learning thing to watch how this all, how long something takes when you really do start feeling it and being able to tune in and, realize something's coming or whatever. So now, to me, I feel this tenseness and I feel like, everything is turning. It was very, just yesterday, just talking to her, I was so frustrated, just being like, why? Why am I not heard? I'm sitting there thinking, is this, as we are exiting this patriarchy, is it because my kids just, because I didn't even question her on it. I was like, fuck it, but in my mind, I'm talking, I'm devouring it. Like, I was just like really dissecting it. And, it's like, is this, just these progressive girls that are all about women, but they don't realize that they really have no respect for women, that they really go to a man for all their answers. And I don't know because I'm not in on their conversations, but I know that the man who they go to for their answers is the polar opposite of me. And, where I'm all on paying attention and gut instinct and stuff, he's all on ego, academia, it's a defined narrative. And so, which is very different, which is good for the girls because then, they get two different things. But the problem is that it became so crystal clear through 2020, where I even went back to the point of about spirituality as they were kids, because I was able to come to my own conclusion as a child in, where I had a parent who was ultra religious, and then I had my dad who was, he always called himself an atheist or agnostic. He said agnostic a lot. And he said it just meant he didn't know what to believe. He just was like, he didn't know. And my mom was very Bible, preachers, all, she was one of the, which was a standard for the women back in the 60s and 70s and probably in the 50s, dutiful. I mean, that's how the Catholic priest got a hold of so many young boys. It's because, oh, you want to spend time with my child? Thank you, Lord Jesus. He's going to go with the priest and learn something. You don't want him to learn what they're going to teach. But it is, it's how it went down. It's the same thing even with the celebrity stuff of, these social climbers who got access to these people's kids. Like I just saw Tiffany Haddish. Her story's all over. I don't know why hers is resurfaced, hers in Aries. And it's like, how do these people get together and start talking pervy and go, hey, you're into the perv shit? Hey, let's talk later. Like, after the party. We'll have our own party. It's like, I don't get. Like, you would think a perv would just be kind of like its own little, like, I don't want everybody to know I'm a perv. I like to, stick my dick in shoes and wear women's panties or something, I don't know. You'd think it would be like your own little weirdness that you kept to yourself. But apparently, these people are winking at parties and setting up, play dates. So that whole story, that has come back out and stuff, it was like these people who would just give access to their kids to people who they thought could do something to help their child. And everybody wanted to be famous. Oh, I just want to be famous. It's like, well, what is that going to get you? Like, famous? Like, I just want to be famous. That's it. Just famous. And then it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, I know what they keep telling me. I think I'm going to have it's definitely not something that I understood as a goal. And it was, I was very much the counter to my sister, because I was growing up with somebody who nonstop for my whole fucking life was like, I'm going to win the Academy Award. I'm going to be a famous actress. And you ever tried to say, like, well, what if you don't? How dare you? You fool. I said it will happen. It will happen. She read Norman Vincent Peale, so she was really into, positive thinking. But man, I went through that for Jesus Christ. I think she, when she married her husband was just like her. They were very, I even turned on some Lifetime movie a couple months ago. I think I even talked about it. And there he was all of a sudden as the cop at the end. And I was like, oh my God, that was so funny. All of a sudden, to see your ex, because he's definitely, that guy. Brother-in-law, though, in the movie is just kind of funny. But, just little bit parts like that kind of stuff. And then had other friends that, they were friends with that couple that was in this show called ER, with George Clooney, because they would talk about when they came over to my house, because when they saw my pig, they were talking about George Clooney had a pig, like my pig, and anyways, they were very, very nice. I really liked them. But my sister and her ex were very much like in that whole, like, they had this big giant bottle of Chivas and cigars for the night that they won their Academy Award and stuff like that. They spend a lot of time working towards just that goal. It's like, I don't know. I mean, it didn't, he ended up teaching in acting in a college in North Carolina, and then left my sister for one of his students. The student left him now. Like, I don't know what went on with them, but she'd married him and everything. And now they're divorced. But he, and my sister, I think she's a substitute teacher, now over there. But anyways, I just never could understand, what are you trying, like, why do you need to have a bunch of people that you don't even know like you? Don't you even think that's kind of weird for people to not know you to like you? Like, it's just, but, like I said, everybody has their own journey to come, She gave me counterbalance. She taught me things. I gave her counterbalance and taught things. Like, that is what we're here for each other, is giving each other lessons. It's kind of like feeding each other lines, really, in the game, in the presentation, because it is really like we're in the presentation and performing for our higher selves to see, and our higher selves have some ego. I'm standing by it. They've got some ego. We're only chipping away at it, I think, because how many of these people who all are like, you can't even believe that their higher self would ever come up with something like this. Like, it's way too hard. It's way too much. There's no freaking way my higher self would put me through something like this. It's like, yeah, but you did. And you do. And you figured it's all you. And so, right there for the two opposing forces, like, the avatar is like, there's no fucking way. And then the one who is creating it is, I think that they push themselves. Like, oh, I think I can do this. Well, I think I can handle that. Well, I think I could do this and probably juggle upside down at the same time. Like, I think they're, and believe me, like, I was definitely this morning while I'm sitting on the couch exhausted after a good long night's sleep. And I'm sitting there just like cursing them, like, time is, you don't even know. It's like you're explaining to them what it feels like, quit telling me something's about to happen when it's like fucking way down, It's like it beats me down when I'm sitting here feeling like something's about to go down. And then plus, we have things that are about to go down. And, I don't know. It was, there's just weird. I don't know. There's just weird stuff. I feel really weird. Like the energy around me, the the colors, the sounds, everything is so intense and so loud, and man, and I am so like everything around here is showing me it's time to move on. It's time to move on. Like just like yesterday, the neighbor was out there. It's freaking freezing cold, and he's out there power washing his truck. And those power washers are loud. It's so fucking noise pollution. But they haven't been doing the construction, so the banks are the whole financial system. I don't understand how people just think, oh, it's this bank or that bank. But I guess because they've done this in the past, and then the news is all talking bailouts just to draw this out. There's no fucking bailing us out. This is the end of the fucking government bullshit. But the people just, oh, I want the banks. I want the government. What are you talking about? What would we do without them? Live free. Not live like this. And let me think what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, there's a Willow project you can look up about. This is disgusting. But, this is more and more. There's a video right now going around of the old Joe talking about how he's against gay marriage. And he looks so different. And his voice is different, the whole thing. And so, in the new Joe, there's all these videos going around at a press conference. They started asking him questions, and he just turns around and walks off like, oh, he's not going to answer. How dare you ask him anything? And then Trump made that whole point in his speech of saying, he's already got his answers written out because they give him the question. It's already prepared. It's a prepared thing. He said, it's not like that for me. And because, the whole Joe thing, but the whole Joe thing too is all like a psyop. So it's just so that they can make these certain points because they know it's a fake Joe. They're playing it up. They know, all these people are a bunch of fakes, Nancy and all of these people. So, it's like that they use that to make the point just so we can see like, oh my God, that guy's such a douche. Oh my God, that guy's the worst. Just like I said, it's the damaging their legacy and is, it's like playing their same game back, what the media does. If you talk out of turn, the media goes in for the attack if you have any kind of a platform at all. So once they, especially, actors and stuff, once they give them a platform, they want to control it. They want to build the actor up and get them to be idolized. They want to create idols, but then they want to control the people through the idol. And depending on what the idol is willing to sell is, dependent on how far they will go. I mean, there's some people right now who, I'm sitting here all calm and collected, and Stella is fucking gassing me out right now. I was like, oh my gosh, she's right underneath me. I was like, dude, God, I need to light some incense. Ugh. She didn't eat all day yesterday, and then this morning, she gobbled down her food that was sitting there all day yesterday. I had a ton of chicken and fish and stuff, so now she's got the gas. So anyways, let me think what I was saying. Anyways, the banks are crashing. The whole system is crashing. It's all going to go. He has been dropping all these hints. They are destroying these different people's legacy. They're showing us the corruption by showing us and bringing up certain things. Even, where I started thinking, because they don't control the military, so they can't really send the soldiers. And besides, now our military is reduced because of the mandates and all the stuff that went on with that. And the person that they're going to visit is an ex-military person who has a lot of issues that you would not think somebody who's 50 would have. You'd think somebody who's 70 or 80, but see, this is what they do. They test on the people. They make them sign. Like, going into the military is not You know, they just give you one after another, and you've already signed all of the things, and these people are so tested on. There's one guy who's morphing into something else. His eye pupils have changed. I mean, he's freaky. I see him. He's been doing videos for a while, and I don't remember if he does I'll say it backwards, ANRM. If he would, because there's another guy who specifically says that he was a part of those experiments, and that, I don't know, he's already died like 6 times. There's only a couple people left out of all of the people who were in it, that they all had these things happen. And so he goes through all that. This other guy, he was in the military, and I don't remember in the beginning what he was saying, but he keeps showing more and more things, like he's got like growing an extra thumb or something, like weird stuff is going on with this fella. And I saw this girl, and I don't know, she's supposed to be, I think she says she's channeling something about the Tartaria or I don't know really, but because it was somebody else sharing her videos, and then they kept talking, like all these people who share these people's videos, and so I don't know, but she was saying that in the ice wall thing. So we have our first encasement of that. She was saying that the Swazes, they're going outside of the ice wall. That is where they have a huge lab containment right outside of the wall. But the thing is that all of the aliens would know that. Like, all of the watchers would, I mean, they can see all. You know, our problem is that we're just focused on that. You know, it's like we're in a movie, and we're focused on being in the movie instead of what's outside of the movie. And so, but that's our consciousness is focused, because it's participating. It's like, it's hard to explain, because this is like the awakening. It's like each person connecting to it and realizing at all different levels. So it's, you know, it's very variable of, but, you know, to me, I'm in constant communication with my higher self, you know, and I'm always trying to sit back and relax as they are driving and telling me where we're headed. And that's why I said, like, I'll get really bitchy to them and frustrated, you know, like, you know, I said I was ready. Like, let's get going on this shit. It's like, yeah, but there's a point to every single thing. And just because you don't understand the point doesn't mean it has no validity. Everything fits together perfectly, and everything that is happening is supposed to happen, so you can't skip parts. So even if I can see, like, oh, well, you know, I could really be helping people out. All the stuff you've told me at this point, I could really be helping people. Well, nobody's listening because nobody's ready. So they're listening to each other, I guess. I don't know. It's so weird to be out there and to just be so unheard, so unseen. I don't know, it's weird, but I get what they're saying. I mean, when they come in with these readings and say such specific things directly to me in these readings, it's like mental. I mean, what is the chances that they're talking exactly about, you know, something I'm talking about with them? They'll come in and they'll say it to me on the TV. Like, you know, to me, I feel like it's constant communication. I mean, there's other people who are trapped in this world who just see me as a crazy person, you know, who thinks I'm talking to the air, apparently. But I know that, I mean, I've been aware of the watcher. I've been aware my whole life. Like, I've been talking to them, and, you know, I don't know. I mean, people just get so scared of this stuff. It's like, but they're right there. They have been the whole time, and they're just watching. They're observing. And just like your higher self is driving the car, then you have all of the ones watching to see. Like, you know, just as any game is played, you have people who observe and watch And, and then we have people here who are very skilled, as far as I'm concerned, it's something about that is why I could hear them talking, and, at such a young age, and didn't let go of that, didn't start going like, well, yeah, I must be crazy because, people say that can't happen. Oh, people say if you're talking to someone it's the devil, and people say, I didn't buy into any of that. And, and then and plus I knew it was I knew I didn't, I used to call them aliens because that's the only thing that we knew of, but I didn't ever think of them like monsters in the sky. I used to think they were out in space, though. I used to think space was out from us, not around us. So I thought, that they were out there, and I would, when I would talk to them, that would be my perspective, was that they were out in space and they were trying to, I don't even know why I thought they were talking to me. I have no idea. It wasn't even something I questioned. I just knew that at a young age, and that guy, the taxi cab medium, he said that it happened when he was 4 years old. I remember mine was 3 years old, and I know for sure it was 3 because I asked my mom when this happened, because I remembered so clearly about that whole thing when I went to get my brother's water, or when they told me to go get him a drink, and I went in the bathroom, and then I put the soap in the water, and they were telling me, I was going to get in trouble. They told me not to do it. There was a whole conversation happening. I was talking to them, and that was the first time I really remember them, talking. And even after I went and did it and got in trouble, they were talking really loud and telling me, we told you were going to get in trouble. And so, and that's why I always thought it was like the devil and the God kind of energy back then. That's what I thought. It wasn't until later when they started telling me about, that we were a science experiment and this place was a zoo, was when they were telling me that stuff. That's when I knew they were aliens. And that was more towards when I was, and they were telling me, Adam and Eve thing. They were telling me all that stuff. Like somebody, it would be more like somebody would tell me something, or I would hear something, and then they would go in and tell me like, nope, that's not the truth, blah, blah, blah. And so they were just telling me stuff. And then if I would say it to somebody, I would say, no, it's not that, it's blah, blah, blah. No, oh God, nobody would ever believe you over the Bible. Are you crazy? Like, just go, that's cute. You think you know something, but, just keep it to yourself. Don't talk crazy. So, that, I knew, and I knew that they were trying to help me and then to listen. And now, I know that was a part of the whole thing to get me to understand that at that point. And so he said, whatever happened when he was 4, I don't know. But I know there's other people. And I know there's other people who were talking to him, and then they just didn't tell anybody because they didn't want people to think they were crazy. So they didn't want people to realize they were interacting with the universe. So they kept it on the down low. But, I told people, just nobody would ever listen. And even when I say things, people just don't understand. They don't understand when you're in communication with this other thing. And it's just, I don't know, it's so weird. Now, now I see it so much different. But, how they just are so focused on the other world is their whole problem. Because if you release that focus, that's one thing that I definitely get in all these TikToks. People are having communication. People are starting to see things. They're constantly like, I get a download a day. I get downloads when I brush my teeth. I get, like, all these people are, and it's not, you don't have to just take a download. You can just sit and talk. You can just talk back to them. You can ask them things. You can ask them to show you more and stuff. Like, they'll interact, but so many people are like, God has spoken to me. He spoke to me today. He gave me a download. He gave me a download. I'm here to share you my download for the day. And so they all are about, God has spoken. It's just like, it's your guidance. It's your higher self we'd all have to come together for God to have spoken to you. We'd all have to join in and to speak to you as God, all of us. It's like, you're talking to your guidance, your higher self, whoever your guidance is. And if you are tapped into just the universal energy, you're just hearing the information that is on the circuit. It's like it's just out there. There's, they, and I'll tell you what, to be super psychic and to be in a house with somebody who's super psychic is freaky. Like, I'll tell you. Like, I can fucking think something and she will answer. She's constantly like, did you say something? Because she can hear me when I'm not even talking. And I feel like I can hear her when she's not talking. It's trippy. But it is, and that's something that people will, the less you focus on out there and the more you focus on your inner voice. And I think, that is something that it becomes more functioning if you come from a home where you feel like you were, where you had to spend a lot of time by yourself, where you were alone and, in deep thought. And, it's kind of like in deep meditation all the way back then. It's kind of like you open up that motherboard, just like I was saying, how it was open for me when I was 3. But, when you come from a lot of trauma or something and you spend time alone, you are in that communication. And just like what my mom said when she was talking to her guidance, that they said that the kids that go through trauma and stuff are not ever alone. They always have guides with them. They always have people with them. And I confirmed to her, yeah, always. No, I've never, ever felt alone. I felt angry. I've felt abandoned. I've felt like, why don't you listen to me? I know best. Just get me the hell out of this place many a time. But, and then I have to come into, okay, you know best. I'm here. I'm just had a little fit there for a minute, and to me, it is just like all the people can get to that point in their communication. But it does have to do with quieting your mind. In order to quiet your mind, you have to heal your traumas and stuff like that. And go in, and I can just say it's real. That there really is all of this communication going on. And it really isn't just like the devil or God or whatever. It's just a lot of different beings and energy. Just like I could sit here and concentrate on a thought. I can send it to somebody. Like we could do a test even. But it depends on that person. And then it depends on, right now we've got so much turmoil, so much energetic turmoil and stuff. But, there is ways to practice this kind of stuff, for me to send out some thought to somebody, direct it to them, and then for them to see if they could hear what they heard. And, you just keep working on that. You can do it with somebody, you can do it sitting back to back. Then do it from somebody in one room and somebody in another room. Then try it somebody in the car and somebody in the house. Then try it somebody at a different house and somebody at that house. Just keep making your space wider and wider once you can hear the communication. And everything on the planet is opening up for you to be able to do that. So it should be that the things you try should, move quickly. Everything should just be opening up much quicker. The thing that is the slowest, tedious part is the healing. And it's because there's just steps. You have to take the steps to get to where you want to be. You can't skip anything. You have to actually do the work. But for things like your telepathy and stuff like that, I think your energy, and then plus do the stuff with the chi, really get your energy going in the morning with that. I think it's called like Kwang or something like that. But there's different kinds of exercises and movements you can do. Like I can just do I don't know. My soul just knows what to do. It just starts doing it. I just let it. And but I like Middle Eastern kind of music, and that just gets me going. I'll start doing these dances. Like my soul is like, oh hell yeah, thank you. Just starts going into town, and doing all of this stuff. It, get your energy bigger and bigger. Like go in and watch some of that stuff and figure out how to make your energy bigger. And and then the more you work on your energy, the more you direct it, and the more you can focus your consciousness. Imagine yourself sitting up in the corner watching yourself, throughout the day. Go into the perspective of watching yourself rather than being here inside of you. Put your consciousness out of you to watch you. Like you can do all of these things, and all of the things that you practice will become where you'll be better and better and better at it. I saw the fucking coolest footage, and I have thought of this so many times, because even when I think about my time with this person up ahead, whenever it is, like fucking the next century, I don't fucking know at this point, but when I've thought about us painting with blindfolds, and even like one person telling somebody and then them painting what they envision. But so this was these little kids, and I don't know what institute is doing these studies, but so it's gifted children. And see, this is the kind of stuff I wish I would have been in back then. It would have been so fucking cool. But so they blindfolded them, and then they hold things up, and the kids tell them what they're holding up. And these kids can even fucking read a book with a blindfold on. They can see it in their consciousness, can see it without using their eyes. And we all have these abilities. And that is something that they had been showing me and showing me and showing me. And then when they just showed me that yesterday, I was like, oh my God, that is so fucking cool. I get totally what you're talking about. And because for me, I have a strong vision inside of my head. And it is curious to, to see, like, what would it look like if you went in and painted what you see inside of your head on a thing? What would it come out and look like when your eyes are covered? But to be able to read a book and not be able to see it with your facial eyes, and to use your conscious thought in order to see it. So anyways, you can use your consciousness to see you. You can use your consciousness to go on and spy on friends. Like it's all a development of the control of your consciousness. It is the same as lucid dreaming and stuff. And that's why I said, that is about the things that we can learn and stuff in this life journey as we evolve and stuff, and see the purpose of pulling free from that controlled environment, so you can adapt and grow more your thing. And see, that is the hidden thing where I was talking about with this, the occult or whatever is the hidden, what is it called? It's like the ancient magic, the ancient truth of existence that they keep hidden from us. That's what they keep as their hidden knowledge that so many of them know about, that they keep hidden from us. But that is the that is the kind of the step that we're going to go into more to understand. But that these things about our consciousness and stuff, is it the stuff that they keep hidden about our energy, our consciousness, all of those kinds of things that they don't want us to understand, because that advances us. It makes us have more abilities and stuff, and they want to keep us small. They want to keep us controllable. They want to keep us under their thumb. They want to keep us working. And I've seen so many times lately where people keep sharing that thing about, Rockefeller, and he started the education system, and they didn't want, a world of smart people. They wanted a world full of people who would work and who would chase shiny objects and all of this stuff. It's that's the truth. It was all created just to control us, and they're educate all of it. And Trump keeps coming out and saying it. I don't understand how these people are so against him. It's and there's just so much. It's just gonna keep coming out and coming out. There's so and it's gonna just keep being this slow awakening. And as people awaken, they get all in their ego and think they've got it all figured out, and they're just getting started. It is a journey. It is not a quick thing like so many people think, and so many people, on their spiritual thing. It's not just about waking up and being spiritual. It's a journey in spirituality. It is a journey to yourself. It's the path to enlightenment. It isn't just like, oh, okay, so now I'm awake and now I know that I have a spirit. You're just getting started. There's so much to finding your balance and healing your wounds and, becoming your authentic self. It's a whole journey, and it's really cool, to get to experience, to find your true self, to, figure out who you are in this crazy mess of a world, and, allow yourself to be you and to love yourself, and so many people, most of us have, stayed hidden, felt shame in some aspect, like we weren't ever good enough. There was something wrong with us. I know for me growing up, I felt so much shame coming from a dad. I mean, this pervy alcoholic dad, this crazy teenage mom, I felt shame. I felt judged by everybody. And it was all coming from within me. We think people know things about us that they don't even know. And so we go around and just like I just had said this to somebody, and I said, remember when you go into a room in a new situation around new people and stuff, to really catch yourself. Don't start overthinking. What are they thinking? What are they thinking? How are they thinking? Because, right away, you'll start turning and you will start feeling everybody's judging you. Everybody's looking at you, judging you. And you'll get all caught up in that. But really, it's you that is creating all of that. And as you're doing that, you are separating from the room. You're separating from these other people. And you're pulling inside to focus on this internal dialogue that you've created, that you think everybody else is judging you. And then you are, you're so inside of you, even if somebody tries to approach you and talk to you, you're cut off. You're not there, present in the moment. And then you will... so nobody's going to want to approach you, and anybody who tries, that you are already caught in your own web of deceit, of confusion. And so then as you're sitting there, contemplating that you're not interacting, you're not meeting other people, you're pushing people away, and you're being unapproachable. And so it's really important to not feed into that inner dialogue, because, so many of us, we do feel embarrassed, ashamed, like everybody knows something about us. And it's really, it's the things we just need to release, because we all have things. We all have stuff we had to get over. It's our life journey. It's our challenges that we came here to experience. And every single person has them. And, and some people think other people's are easier because they haven't walked that path. They don't know that there's challenges in every single one. There is no easy route. There's no easy path. There is path of challenges. Why would you want to just take an easy one where you don't grow? You got to stub your toe and let it heal. You got to go through some challenges so that you can heal and grow and expand. So, nobody should want to just have easy, I'll just take the easy route. I don't want anything to happen. It's like, then you need to learn to trust yourself, that you can get over things, that challenges occur, but you can get over them, and it'll be okay. You show yourself what you're made of. And so it's not this horrible trauma is what we have been built to think every time something happens, like, it's just another knocking us down over and over and over. It's like, that's what I'm saying. Your ego, your higher self has got some ego. It's like, I'll just do it again, like, and knocked down over and over. But then you have to go in and you have to see, am I just not recognizing a pattern? Am I just doing the same thing over and over, not realizing, and they're trying to really make it clear to me, and that's common. It's very easy to do the same thing over and over and not realizing that you are. And that is that, so many things are all about becoming mindful, being present, not being on autopilot, actually doing the healing so that you're not trying to, hide from life and distract yourself from life, actually being present and being able to, it's like conquering the journey and healing, and it's the whole thing. It's the leveling up. It's totally like a video game. Is totally how I see it. It's like our higher self is out there, and when it wants to be birthed into an experience, it projects itself into it. The whole thing is designed by its other compadres that it hangs out with, and they come in to experience, and then and then it's also intertwined into a bigger purpose. Like, everything is such a beautiful experience as the universe expands on all of the beings that are expanding, and it's beautiful. And then people just feel so beat down because it's so hard. But this place is very hard. It's very challenging, and it is the low vibration. It's where you can come and play these things out. You can't come and play this shit out in high vibration. That's why this stuff has to end. It can't go into a high vibration. It's low vibration stuff. This is like the separation, the purge, the separation of heavy, dense energy and the lighter energy pulling free from the dense energy so that we can raise the vibration. And if we attach onto the higher vibration, which you have to also be high vibration. You can't hold on to a high vibration if you're low vibration, because this separation, it is separating the two energies. And so the low vibration, which I think of as being, the science, the disillusion, the narrative, and all that, is that dark, heavy energy. There's people who totally believe in this climate. I mean, there is people who would totally eat their dead neighbor because it's good for the planet. Well, they say it's good for the planet, so I'll just do what they say. So anyways, I have been talking, and I think I've made my point. I think that you get what I'm saying. I feel like I say it over and over and over again. So anyways, things are going to be changing at some point. I can't even believe this is Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. And I'm not seeing anything about the banks or whatever, so I don't know. I don't know how long they can drag this shit out. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. I don't know on the stock market if it is, they're just, this stock dropped, this one dropped now, this one dropped. Like, how many are we going to go through before they're going to fucking just say, okay, let's crash. The dollar's crashed. There's no money. There's no currency in America. Y'all figure it out. And then we'll see what happens. I mean, I think that they're trying to, I think they know the quantum thing is going to come right in, and that's why they're trying to drag it out, to keep us from getting that, because they want to try and figure out how to keep control. But there's so many of them are arrested and stuff. I mean, Klaus probably, like all these people. Like, it's over, even though it's like still feels tedious. You know, it's going to be showing the truth. I mean, I could not even believe my daughter still is not. It's like, I hope you're prepared. You know, are you going to go to work when you're not getting paid? And when there's no money to pay you, are you going to go to work? Oh, Mom, don't be silly. Okay, I won't be. I won't be silly. And I'm going to just sit back here and watch it all crash and watch all of y'all hold on and not be at home. Man, this is rough, I'll tell you. So, anyways, we'll see how it goes. Next week, supposedly, I'm going to go to Yakima, and man, I honestly, I wish it would hurry up and get it done this week. Go through our days of darkness and then see what next week brings. It's going to bring a lot of violence, probably. But, you know, however long they'll drag this out, fuck. We could still be waiting for them to crash next week. Like, this is ridiculous. It's like, I can't even believe how this shit drug. You know, there's an international warrant, but we just can't find the guy. Yeah, your president is not the president, but we just can't do anything about it. It's like, that's the kind of bullshit that just pisses me off. You start talking about election and shit. Well, you know, well, we wish we could do something. Well, but, you know, they just put in whoever they want, and then we'll just stand around talking about it. Oh my God, I'm sick of this shit. So, anyways, we'll see how much more this drags out. And fucking just... I mean, it's going to go the way it's going to go. We don't have control. So, anyways, just stay strong and keep working on you. Because what else are you going to do? So, I'll talk to you later. Bye.